Since 2013, IngramSpark has become the go-to resource in self-publishing wide. They have the widest distribution. In fact, so much so their parent group, Ingram Content Group, manages expanded distribution for Kindle Direct Publishing. So a lot of the instances I tell people, you should be publishing to Kindle Direct Publishing and IngramSpark. However, I got some concerns, some legitimate concerns, and some things that I just don't think is being fully addressed publicly. And so that's why I thought we'd go ahead and dig into the many growing concerns over IngramSpark Publishing. Make sure you stay tuned to today's podcast. What's happening? It's Dale here, and I'm just tickled to death. You took a little bit of time out your day to spend a little bit of time with me to talk about my favorite thing in self-publishing. There's no sponsor spot today, because today I really want to focus on an area that I really believe can improve, vastly improve. It's great. Before we jump into that area, I want to kind of just address something that concerns me. In 2020, the Audible Gate thing broke out. If you missed that podcast where I talked about it, I've already talked about it twice, but essentially what ended up happening is Audible was caught reaching into authors' pockets, pulling out ridiculous refunds, and literally put people into the negative. They owed ACX money because of refunds and returns that ended up getting backed up. And there were many checks and balances and some transparency issues with ACX and Audible. And I see this as the same issue when it comes to IngramSpark. Now, maybe you're kind of going, what is IngramSpark? IngramSpark, folks, was founded back in 2013 by the illustrious Robin Cutler. She's no longer with the company. She actually retired last year. Big shout out to Robin. She's a fantastic human being. In their words for IngramSpark, it says IngramSpark is connected to the ordering systems of 40,000 independent and chain bookstores, libraries, and online retailers worldwide, including Apple, Kobo, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Bertram's, Waterstones, Booktopia, and beyond. See the full list of IngramSpark retail partners in a specific link that they actually mention. Now, if you go to that link, though, it shows quite a bit of them. But a lot of it's ambiguous. It's and more. Well, what's the and more? I'll get to that in just a moment here. But what we do know is they distribute strictly ebooks and a variety of print books in trim sizes and types, everything from paperbacks to hardbacks with jackets. There's no audiobooks whatsoever, and I don't think they have any intention to break into the audiobook publishing industry. Now, they never told me this, but it doesn't look like they're moving towards that direction. Ingram Content Group manages the distribution for IngramSpark. Now, this is where it kind of gets hazy because you've got two functioning business entities, and each of them are going to get their cut. IngramSpark already plays as a middleman, meaning that they will distribute your book out for a certain fee. You actually will lose a percentage of net profits coming from each one of those avenues. As an example, if I decide I want to distribute to Amazon by way of IngramSpark, maybe I'm getting 70% royalties on Amazon for that ebook. That 70% comes in, and then IngramSpark brings an additional percentage off of that net profit. So it kind of whittles down things. There's a middleman in there. I'm not so concerned about that. I'm okay with aggregate publishing as it is, but there are just these areas of concern. And concerns that I had for ACX originally, like the transparency of refunds, having a devoted column, there's some concerns I have in the same aspect. Now, that's not one of the issues that I have, though we'll talk about the reporting system. But I want to start it out first of all. My first area of concern is the lack of transparency. Reports don't show from where a book is sold. They don't. You just get a sale. How am I supposed to devote my time, energy, attention, and ad dollars into promoting this book that you're distributing if I don't know where it's at? Now, some people would say, well, you could just generally say, buy it wherever you buy your books or something like that. Well, who's to say that's not going to be available in a certain region? Knowing this distribution and where it's at, it's going to make it much easier for me to spend time, energy, attention, and ad dollars into promoting a book. If I know that this is selling, let's say, for instance, dozens of copies through Booktopia or maybe Indigo Books, something like that, then it would be awesome, because then I can go, okay, what do I need to do more to get more sales on that given platform? But without that knowledge being, given to us, we're kind of left with guessing. Well, I guess I'm doing the right thing. The other area of lack of transparency is the royalty structure. I guarantee you, go Google up Amazon KDP royalty structure or royalty. Type up Apple Books royalties, Barnes & Noble Press royalties. Google up IngramSpark royalties. You're going to probably find some random blog post from some other person from 5 years ago. Why isn't this immediately available, not only inside our dashboard, but also in areas like the FAQs? Why is this so hard to track down, IngramSpark? I understand you're playing as an aggregate, but you need to at least be forward about what it is that we're getting paid. The other area of lack of transparency is there's no exact list of distributors. Sure, they've got some general ones, some of the bigger ones, but I want to know what's the and more. What is the and more that you have here? Why is this that can't be disclosed? I reached out to them by email, and this has been about a year or two ago, and I said, hey, you've got 40,000 different online stores and such. Could I get a full list? And their answer was, it's a privacy concern. It's a what? So you're telling me I need to blindfolded put my books out into the world and just hope for the best? What if, for some reason, I'm just going to throw away an extreme here, not that this is a situation. What if I'm a Christian author and there's some mom and pop brick and mortar store that does satanic books or something like that? I don't want to have that into that specific area. Knowing that it's going to go to that will make or break my decision to using the IngramSpark platform. Why is this so hard? Privacy? Really? I'm not asking them for their business EIN. I'm just asking, where is it going to? This might actually help me to send my readers over to a given avenue, knowing those avenues. Privacy? No, it's not a privacy issue. You don't know where you're sending your stuff to. And I think the company needs to get good on the transparency of where it's going, and not just the generalized 40,000 independent and chain bookstores, libraries, online retailers worldwide. This seems like an arbitrary number. Because if it's not an arbitrary number, why don't we say what the and more is? Fully disclose it. It needs to be available in like a PDF of some sort. I know it's a lot, but if you're distributing to all those avenues, then you should be telling the people where you're distributing to. All right, next area is concern. Lack of distribution control. I just don't like the fact that if I want to deselect a specific avenue, I should be allowed to do that. For instance, I go to Draft to Digital. If I don't want it published over to Amazon, I can take it off. Maybe I don't want it to go over to Overdrive or Scribd. I'll remove it. Draft to Digital doesn't go, well, it's an all or nothing thing. You don't like it, get lost. Because that's essentially what it feels like. For ebooks, you can deselect Amazon. I will give them that. That's fantastic. That's awesome. They realize that people are probably going to go directly over to KDP for their ebooks. But what about the other avenues? I should be able to have the freedom to deselect areas like Apple, Barnes & Noble Press, Kobo, Overdrive, all those type of things, because quite frankly, why do I want to take less money if I can go to a specific avenue and get even more? Again, another thing of lack of transparency in this particular area. Because if I had the ability to deselect a given avenue, knowing, oh, Apple's pulling in a great revenue, okay, let's go ahead and deselect that through IngramSpark distribution. Oh, wait, I can't do that. All or nothing stinks. At least they got Amazon. Print books, though, forget it. It is all or nothing. Either you distribute with them or you don't distribute with them. Not a fan of that. So, moving forward, let's get over to the next area of concern, the refunds policy. It is scary. It is what nightmares are made of. Indie authors are not made of money, folks. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but a lot of indie authors aren't making millions per year. Some are making barely hundreds per year. And so the refunds policy is the one that really concerns me, and especially in the way that they frame it. They encourage, in order to get brick and mortar distribution, to include the refunds. Because if a mom and pop brick and mortar store wants to stock your book, they want to feel safe in investing in your book. And if for some reason it's not selling like they wish, they will return it. They will get a full refund. At that point, you're going to have to pay to either A, get it destroyed, the base print costs, and any like the shipping and handling. Now, if you get it shipped to yourself, forget about it. There's no safety measures in place from what I could tell. Any brick and mortar store can probably put too many zeros behind their order and go, I didn't need that many. I meant 10, not 1,000. So who gets to eat the cost? In a very real life situation, indie author Marissa Noel had shared over on a Twitter feed a very deep story. She got double billed on a refund by IngramSpark. They charged her for over 360 returns. 360 at one time, folks. What? They come to find out, whoops, sorry, our mistake. Our reporting was a little off. It's actually only 182 copies. So she went from owing $10,000 down to $5,000. And here's the kicker. Because she was in the UK and the returns were coming in the US, rather than sending those print books overseas for her returns, they just destroyed them there, printed all new books, and sent them to her. What? That's me confused. If you can't hear this on the audio podcasts, I'm flabbergasted. When is a distributor flagged for improper ordering protocol? What about the limits? Another thing of lack of transparency, because if I'm going to have refunds enabled, I want to make sure that if a store makes an egregious error, that I don't have to pay for it. It's not my fault that Billy Joe Bimbob over in Kentucky decides to go ahead and order 1,000 copies of my book wanting only 10, and I got to go ahead and eat his cost right there, eat that mistake. It doesn't set well with me. Not to mention that you encourage this. IngramSpark says, go ahead, do the returns, because if you want brick and mortar distribution, most aren't going to consider you unless you do that return. And here's the other one. Area of concern, the next one here. It's the fourth area of concern. Wholesale discounts. Ooh. You have to at least have your print books at a wholesale discount of 35%. That's a minimum. 35%. Okay. Not bad. Sans any print fees, we're doing okay. It's about on par for what you're going to get through Kindle Direct Publishing print. Okay. But they encourage that if you want to increase the likelihood of getting your books into stores, you have to increase it up to the 55% or greater. Wow. 55% wholesale. All right. If this means that I'll get placed on a bookstore bookshelf, then I'll be up for it. I wouldn't be angry about it. But here's the part. Does the store get the full discount? Does the store get the full discount? No. There's vested interest in IngramSpark telling you to turn your wholesale discount up and include returns. Why? They make money on you. And that's okay. I understand that. But when it comes to returns and things like that, that's when I get kind of, And then wholesale, if you're encouraging somebody, you should probably say the 55% doesn't go entirely to the store because our parent company, Ingram Content Group, comes in and takes their own cut. And each brick and mortar store or distributor has a specific deal worked out with IngramSpark. And I heard sometimes it's as low as 5%. Say what? Let me repeat that. Some stores only get the wholesale discount at 5%. If you marked yours at 55% wholesale discount, they only get a 5% cut. Where's the other 50% going? That doesn't seem right. I don't care if you have some type of a deal, but that just doesn't set with me very, very well, that you're not giving a vast majority of that discount over to them. 35%, if you gave them just 5%, okay, I'm a little bit more comfortable. But when I kick it up 20% more, that's just me donating my paycheck to you. That sucks. I get so worked up on that. Moving on, because boy, we have more issues, believe it or not. Poor customer service. I'm just not going to even hang out on this one too long. They have late responses, sometimes no responses at all when someone puts in a support ticket. They give canned responses that sometimes don't even address the issue of the original support ticket. And then no active feedback. There needs to be someone that I can talk to on a phone. There needs to be someone who is well-versed in the IngramSpark universe, so that way I feel like I'm in good hands. I can do this on Kindle Direct Publishing. I can go into the contact us and get a hold of them through email, and sure, I'll get canned responses, but usually I get an answer. I can get on the phone with them and feel like I get all of my issues addressed like it should be. IngramSpark? I haven't seen that happen yet. Outdated user interface. IngramSpark went through a major update in 2020. In fact, so much so that it created a huge issue for a lot of authors out there. Trust me, IngramSpark, guess what? When you mess up, they come over, these people are angry, and they go into my groups, and they go onto my videos, and they express their anger. Yeah. So here's the funny thing is this created a lot of havoc. A lot of people were having problems with uploads and reports and everything else like that. And I got a lot of people calling it a scam. Folks, IngramSpark's not a scam. Can they fix a few things? Absolutely. They're not a scam, though. I can assure you that. It didn't help, though. At the same time, Lulu, another aggregate self-publisher, changed their user interface, and their thing was crashing as well. So you can only imagine. I was getting beat up from every direction. Dale, you said IngramSpark's great. You said Lulu's great. These guys are scams. They took in my money. Like, this is me face palming here, folks. The reports feature and that user interface is absolutely the worst. The worst. IngramSpark reps, folks, go over to KDP, go over to Drafted Digital, go over to Apple. You can see a clear, concise report feature. All I have to do is get logged in. I don't have to go over and select a date and have it emailed to me and have to hopefully wait for that to be emailed to me. Just put the reports in there. I understand you're an aggregate publisher and you're waiting on other avenues and things like that, but that doesn't mean you can't still be able to give me real-time reports without me having to go over and call in a bunch of other things. And considering that it costs $49 to upload a book, $25 to update that book, I would think with that specific profit alone that you should be able to build out the infrastructure to have a better reports feature. You have so many examples. Why aren't you doing something? And then upload errors. This started happening in the last year when that interface came along. I uploaded a cover and it said error. Oh, okay. So I spent a while trying to troubleshoot it with my cover designer, by the way, having to spend my money to figure that stuff out, all to find out that they were like, oh, we deleted it for you. Just re-upload it. It should be fine. What? It shouldn't be having issues like this. And not to even offer an apology? It's beyond me. Not to mention that I had another manuscript. I was working with a good friend of mine, Thomas A. Bradley. He was on the pilot episode of Book Rescue. We tried to go ahead and do his print book over to IngramSpark. The same interior that worked on KDP didn't work on IngramSpark. I've done this time and again. I know numerous authors that take the same interior and are able to upload with no issues, but for whatever reason, it messed it up. It made it all wonky. And when we went to go ahead and ask them, they're like, well, you got to fix it. We got to fix it. It's your messed up system. How about you fix it? Beyond me. Folks, I'm ranting and raving. I say it because I'm super passionate about this, that I truly see a very bright future for something like IngramSpark and helping out the self-publishing community. But right now, there's areas of concern that I feel need to be addressed. So my final thoughts, is IngramSpark worth it? IngramSpark is the best distributor when it comes to the widest reach, getting out to as many platforms as possible. Is IngramSpark worth it? Yes, it is. But it could be better for authors and self-publishers if they publicly address the issues and not just some boilerplate form. No one likes to talk to a robot on a phone as much as they don't like to be sent over to a form to fill things out like this. That's why I'm doing this podcast, because I'm hoping that they will see these things and address them publicly, each and every single one of them, without any reservation. Hey, they're fully endorsed by a company like the Alliance of Independent Authors. They actually have an excellent rating, and they're actually a partner of Ally. And that's not something they could just throw money at and just be added to the list. No. Ally actually goes through and vets them. And the cool thing is you actually get your IngramSpark fees waived if you're an Ally member. By the way, go over to my affiliate link, dalelinks.com/ally. That's ALLI. And you'll be able to get 5 codes waived per month. That'll make life easy for you. But is IngramSpark worth it? On the other side of the coin, because yes, it is worth it, but you have to know those areas of concern before you go in there and just prepare yourself. I don't think it's worth it if you want direct control on distribution in a platform with full transparency. They need to be more transparent. I see them spending a lot of time over on Instagram putting up these beautiful posts. I see them integrating, that they're just working with other platforms like YouTube, like a Facebook, like Twitter. Why don't they take that man hour and put it towards building out some of this other stuff, addressing some of these concerns? All right, I'm done ranting and raving, folks. Again, this was not a time that I'm sitting here trying to beat down IngramSpark. I will continue to use them, but I will do it with caution because I feel like there's so many areas that need to be addressed for sure. Subscribe or follow me on your preferred podcasting platform, and do me a favor, leave a review or leave a comment on the YouTube channel. I always love hearing from you. Hey, next week, we're going to be talking about how I had artificial intelligence write up my ad. I used a number of artificial intelligence software out there for copywriting. You're going to find out the hilarious results and some interesting results that actually go along with it. There will also be a small break at the beginning of January from podcasting, obviously for the holidays. So make sure that you mark that on your calendar. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale. And you folks take care of yourselves out there. Happy holidays.